Hello everyone. Welcome to this yet another check-in session. Just looking at the chat, I see a number of you here. So there's Arsh, there's Saravanan, Kalyamurthy. Hey Saravanan, welcome to the stream. We have Mark. Hello Mark. Good to have you here. We have Pablo, greetings from Chile. Hello, welcome Pablo. We have Vladislav from Ukraine, Abid Moon from the UK. We have Charles. Hello, Charles. Thank you so much for joining. We have Vishnu. We have Sri Krishnan Subramanian. We have Valdir Jr., Imran Khan. I see more and more people joining. So let's just give it a minute or two for everyone to join us, and then we'll kick things off. So I'm based out of Singapore, so it's about 10 p.m. here, and I know that there's all of you are from around the world. A number of you from India. Others from UK, Ukraine, Brazil, Chile. So whatever parts of the world you're from, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have Mohammed Benor from France. We have Yuri's Tech Channel, Lisboa. Ramzi from Tunisia, Renato from Brazil, Majid from Tunisia. Welcome, Majid. Welcome, Andre from Brazil. So I guess we'll kick things slowly. So let me just bring up my deck and see what we have for today. So if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to this check-in session. So this is a bi-weekly check-in session for our Kubestronaut 2025 campaign. So the beginning of the year, we started off the campaign to get with a mission to get hundreds of Kubestronauts out into the orbit in 2025. And we have 700 plus who have joined this cohort. That started in January, and we have a year-long plan to go through and get certified in all of the 5 Kubernetes certifications to become a Kubestronaut. So we had a check-in session 2 weeks back. This is the second check-in session. So what does the cohort look like? So we have a Discord channel where we all gather and we share our experiences with each other. We help each other to learn. We have these bi-weekly calls. We have a leaderboard, which I'll explain in a bit. And we also kind of track progress through that. But before we begin, I just wanted to quickly mention we recently launched the Fundamentals of MLOps course just last week. So do check it out. This is something I'm planning to go through and learn myself. New domain for me too. So very exciting times with AI happening all around us, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting my hands dirty with some of the labs in this course. I also want to congratulate a number of you who have made it to the orbit last couple of weeks. So we have Kashi Vishwanathan, we have Lucas Adamski, Mauricio, Torsten, Sunil. So congratulations to all of you for getting your Kubestronaut certifications. Let me just change this here so to make it a bit more visible. All right. Seems sending a quick internal note here. Okay, so congratulations to all who have made it to the orbit past couple of weeks. We have a mysterious guest with us today, who has done all the certifications in 6 weeks' time. So wait till the end to hear his experiences. So just a reminder on why we have this program. The main idea of this cohort is to learn together as part of the cohort, for the peer-to-peer interaction, to learn from each other's experience, to help each other out, and also to stay accountable. Sometimes we start a New Year's resolution, but do not often keep it up. So this way, when doing it together, is a hack that you can use to kind of keep yourself accountable. And of course, we also have regular support and feedback through these channels. All right. So yeah, if you're here for the first time, then all you need is the basic understanding of Linux containers and some Kubernetes, because we start with the CKA course. So having a good background on Linux is definitely going to be helpful. And of course, just the willingness to learn, the grit and perseverance to push this through the entire year, and to never give up. So a quick reminder on the first cohort. So we are currently in the cohort 1, path 1. The path 1 starts with the CKA course. So January, February, March is for CKA. We should have made some progress with the CKA course by now. And then we have our goal is to get CKA certified by the end of March. And then by April to do CKAD, and then May KCNA, June, July, August CKS, and by September KCSA. Now we know not everyone may be able to make it in time, so we have some buffer time till the end of the year. So I would recommend this for those who have at least like 3 years of experience, a little bit of hands-on or equivalent experience in terms of hands-on experience working in Linux environments. The cohort 1 path 2 is more for beginners. So you start with KCNA first, and then do CKAD, CKA, CKS, and then KCSA. So by now, we should have completed 38% of the CKA course. So we should have done the introduction, the core concepts, scheduling, and we have logging and monitoring, and application lifecycle management. So this is what we should have completed by now. And for the next couple of weeks, the goals are to go through cluster maintenance and security. For path 2, you should have completed 51% of the KCNA course. So our goal is to hit the KCNA, be KCNA certified by end of February. So by now we should have completed at least 50%, and we have the remaining 50% left in Feb. So you have the Kubernetes fundamentals, resources, scheduling, security, and networking. You should have completed that by now. All right. And for the next couple of weeks, the goal is to go through service mesh, storage, and the cloud native architecture sections. So just a reminder that the CKA exam will be updated, is likely to be updated in Feb, but it's not confirmed. So we still have to wait to know from Linux Foundation if it's actually going to happen by February 10th. As per the latest updates, it's not going to happen before February 10th. So around that time, we will know if it's going to happen on February 10th or if it's going to be further delayed. But as of now, whatever the course contents are, they're relevant for the current version of the exam. And you should be able to go through that and get certified. So even if there are changes, it's not a lot. So I anticipate not more than 20% of the exam changing. As long as you're good with the basic foundational content, it should be fine. So there's some things that are going away. For example, performing a version upgrade on a cluster using kubeadm, or an etcd backup and restore. Those are going out, and we have Helm and Customize tools coming in, understanding CRDs that are coming in, configuring auto scaling, pod admission and scheduling, dynamic volume provisioning, and troubleshoot network services, networking, gateway API. So these are some of the new concepts we are expecting. So we've already updated the course. We've already started to update the course. So if you're going through the course, you should have an idea by now. So you'll be able to see sections that are marked that says 2025 updates. So these are the new topics that we have added to the course. If your plan is to attempt the exam before the changes happen, then you don't necessarily need to go through this. When you do CKAD, some of these will come in, but you don't necessarily need to go through this if you have plans to take the exam before the February the 10th. But we've already started updating the course, in advance, just to make sure we are on time. So all the latest updated topics will be marked 2025 updates. And then we also have these sections on Helm and Customize. These are new sections that are added. They're also marked as 2025 updates, so you have an idea which they are. And then these are some of the new topics that we will be adding in the upcoming weeks. So auto scaling, horizontal pod auto scaling, vertical pod auto scaling, cluster proportional autoscaler, and gateway API. So these are some of the topics that we will be adding to these relevant sections in the upcoming weeks. So this is where we are today. End of Jan, we should have completed these. And starting tomorrow or day after, the goal is to complete cluster maintenance and security for the next 2 weeks. So that's that's a little less than what the topics were set for the past couple of weeks. So that's about 3.5 hours of content, about 10 hours of lab and extended practice time. So similarly for KCNA, you should have completed 50% by now. The next couple of weeks are for service mesh, storage, and cloud native architecture. That's about 3.5 hours of study of video content. You can give yourself maybe 10 hours of study, a couple of hours each day. All right, so we had shared the Kubestronaut knowledge graph that's available at kubestronaut.kodekloud.com, where you can see how topics overlap between each other. So you should definitely check it out. And we also have the Kubestronaut leaderboard that's available at leaderboard.kodekloud.com. By the way, so this is the last day. Tomorrow is the last day to join the January cohort. So we're closing the entries for the January cohort. Let me quickly take you here and show you the actual leaderboard itself. So if you look at it, we have about 700 plus in the cohort that are going through the courses right now. If you go to the overall progress and look at certified, we have a number of them who have already become Kubestronauts, and there are the others who are almost there. They have already had 4 or 5 certifications, 3 or 4 certifications, and pending the last few. So if you have, now I know a lot of you may have done some of the certifications already. So if you have done those, go here and click on Add My Certificates and add in your details, and then you'll appear in this in the leaderboard. And as you make progress through the course, you'll be able to see your progress here. So you can track yourself against how others are progressing in the cohort. So this is tomorrow is the last day to join this cohort, and then in the upcoming months we'll start newer cohorts for study. Cool. So those are 2 tools that we can use to keep yourself accountable, keep yourself in the game. One additional thing that I want to announce is that in the next session that we will have, we're working on something cool behind the scenes, and we will have a platform where you can view all the notes for our courses. So that's basically all the course content in text format that you can easily copy and paste into whatever tool you're using to study. And it's also helpful when you go through the labs. So that's something we're working on, and we'll just giving you a heads up. We will introduce that during our call in the upcoming check-in session 2 weeks later from now. Cool. So so these are the check-in sessions that we are going to have. The next one is going to be in the 13th of Feb. Join our Discord channel. So use the link to join our Discord channel where we hang out. And when you join the channel, make sure you select the Become a Kubestronaut in 2025 option, so you are automatically added to the relevant private channel within that Discord group. So just a number of tips that I just want to reiterate. So first of all, make sure you try to aim to hit your milestones no matter what. So don't get stuck on things. Keep yourself going. Feel free to learn at your own pace. If you can go faster, just go ahead and cover the additional topics. There are a number of those who have already completed 90% of the course and are aiming for the certification. So if you can go through it faster, if you have more time, if you get break from the company, from your work, then you can absolutely go for it. Definitely stay in the community and engage with others. Try to answer others' questions, see what questions they're facing, and try to answer them. And that can be like a huge, that can have a huge impact, in your learning journey. Just helping. One of the hacks I use to learn is to teach. So that's something you could do too. Help each other out, and that way you'll gain a lot of experience from learning from others' mistakes. If you get stuck, remember to use KodeKloud AI in the labs chat window. One of the things I would say is if you're like almost 80% confident, give your first attempt. And so be ready to give your first attempt when you're 80% of confident. Don't wait for perfection. Don't wait to be like 100% confident. You have 2 attempts, so at least you'll get an idea. A lot of people drop out like at 80%. It's when you complete about 80%, 70 to 80%, when the kind of the boredom and the burnout kicks in, right? And that's where a lot of people give up. So it's a good idea to just push yourself to hit 80% and just give your first attempt, and that'll kind of keep you accountable. And then you'll get an idea where you stand, and then you'll be able to go for the second attempt. Cool. So the next check-in is going to be on the 13th of Feb. By the way, I've purchased my Kubestronaut bundle just today. So there is a offer that's happening, and with Linux Foundation. So I'll share that in a bit. But just to keep myself kind of accountable, I've purchased the bundle, and I'm going to schedule my exam somewhere towards the end of Feb or beginning of March. That's my goal. And I want to just go in and book the exam, so that I kind of then put myself under pressure to then to complete the course and then give the exam, right? So that's a hack I would suggest. Just go ahead and book your exam for some time in March, and then you have no choice to other than to study and prepare for the exam. So there is an offer that's going on with Linux Foundation that ends tomorrow, I guess. So use the code January25 code to get a 35% off on all the certifications. So if you missed the Black Friday offers and everything a few months back, there's a good chance to get it at a discounted price. Cool. So we are with our mysterious guest. So this is Lei. Lei recently completed the Kubestronaut in just 6 weeks. So I thought it would be good to bring him on and for all of us to hear from him, his tips and tricks on how he was able to achieve that. So yeah, let's bring Lei on to our screen.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Lei.
Hi.
How are you today? Thank you so much for making it.
Yeah, it's my honor.
Cool. Let me just stop my screen. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, tell us about yourself. Like, where are you from? Where are you located? What do you do?
Yeah. My name is Lei, and I come from China. And then I'm working in Germany. At first, I studied in Germany, and then just find a work in Germany, and as cloud developer and DevOps developer in my firm. So it's quite interesting. I get Kubestronaut in just 6 weeks, because it's a huge project for myself, because I didn't have so much Kubernetes or Docker experience. I use a little bit Docker in my daily work, but Kubernetes is almost zero for me. So it's completely new. And the moment or the reason why I choose to learn Kubernetes is just, it's sometimes I need to pass my firm strategy. My firm want to containerize something and also put everything in a container and deploy in different cloud platform like AWS or the Azure. So it's kind of a requirement for the developers like me in the firm to learn something container and something like container orchestration technologies like Kubernetes, and also maybe in the future also the AKS in the AWS. And so, this is the reason I began my journey.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So just on your experience, right? So tell us a bit more about that. So how long have you been working, and how long have you been in, I guess, in Germany?
I've been in Germany almost 10 years until now, and working experience about 5 years, a little bit more than 5 years, but yeah.
Okay. And what's your what's your background? Maybe about your studies, like what did you study?
My study is also an interesting topic. So my study in China is automotive engineering, is my original bachelor. And
Okay.
then I studied in Germany for my master automotive engineering. But back then, I think automotive engineering is not something really interests me. So I tried to change my major to another path, which is computer science. And is in Germany is a very special major with name. I think it is business information systems. It's something like mission mix business and something like computer
Okay.
science is together. So I also during my master in automotive engineering in Germany, I also finished the bachelor and master computer science. And after that, I worked also almost just as developer or cloud developer in different firms. Yeah.
Awesome. So very
So
interesting.
automotive engineering is going.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? So
Yeah.
automotive engineering, that was your background. That's what you studied, and
Yeah.
then you had this interest in data science. So you did a master's in
Yeah.
data science, right? But that was not computer science, just data science.
Is information system is a little bit
Information systems. Okay,
yeah,
so a bit of both.
it's near to the computer science. Yeah, but
Okay,
data science is also very huge part in my in my major.
got it. Okay, very interesting. So, and
Mhm.
then after that, you started working at companies in
Yeah,
the cloud infrastructure space.
yeah, yes.
Okay,
So
and
this is
so that's what you had been doing for the past like 4 years, 5 years, you said.
yeah, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
amazing. So so yeah, you don't so what does your like day to day look like as a you said you don't do too much of Kubernetes. So then
Mhm.
prior to like doing all these certifications, like what did your day to day look like?
Um, I did because I'm a cloud developer at first, so I use a lot of AWS technologies and do the different lambdas coding and also developing different services in the AWS, and also the deployment. For example, the software we buy some software and we want to deploy the software in the AWS also. So the daily work is something like a deployment, DevOps part, and then the developing part. And then, I think for the most developer, the huge part, daily work is debug part. So
Okay.
it's kind of debug some errors
Okay.
every day. And this is my
Okay.
daily work
But
before Kubernetes. Yeah.
yeah, but those are I guess, so those are not containerized applications. Are they
No.
like more traditional
Yes.
application? Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Cool. So then your company has an initiative to containerize, as every other company is doing right now. And that's why you wanted to learn and get yourself certified and become a Kubestronaut, right? So how did you even hear about this whole Kubestronaut thing? Like, learning Kubernetes is one thing, but then getting certified and becoming a
It's
Kubestronaut
another
is...
very interesting story, I think. At first I just want to learn CKA and CKAD two exams because these two is very important for me as developer. And then during the beginning, I signed up in the two CKA and CKAD exams in Linux Foundation, but I didn't think about any other exams. But after that, I think it's just 3 or 4 days later, I find out that there is a blue jacket. If someone who get Kubestronaut program, Kubestronaut title and finish all the 5 Kubernetes certificates, because I have already finished the AWS all certificates and I got my gold jacket. So I just think it's pretty cool if I get another jacket which is a different color, and I think it's pretty interesting. So I just used the chance during the Black Friday. There is a huge discount, and I just registered all the 5 certificates at one time. But I didn't think to pass all the certificates in just 6 weeks or 2 months. I think because there is a one year time after registration, you can still learning slowly and pass the certificates one by one. But I just used my time efficiently and passed all the exams during my Christmas vacation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, I didn't know that you were also a AWS, golden jacket winner. So yeah, congratulations for that. So
Thank
that
you.
puts you at a whole different level. So yeah, it's no surprise that you're able to complete the Kubernetes ones. But like, what is the major, like, how do you compare both? Like, how do you compare a AWS certification with a Kubernetes one? Like, what are the maybe the major difference, the hands-on part?
It's the major difference is the hands-on part. It's a labs-based exams in Kubernetes. I must say it's much more fun than AWS certificate exams because AWS certificate exams is just multiple choice for all of exams, but Kubernetes certificate is something you can you, you can do something lab by yourself during the exams, and this part is fascinating. I think it's more fun for me.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, I feel the same. I think the hands-on part is really interesting, right?
Yeah.
It
I think it's
brings...
also the one part for hands-on or the lab-based exam is you really get something.
Yeah.
You really get some skills after the exams. So it's not just something just a theory in your brain. It's something like a memory in your finger, and you can type the different command, write the different definition YAML file. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I think all the future exams should be hands-on.
Yes,
That's what I
I
feel.
agree.
Cool. So let's talk about your study plan. So we know why you started with the Kubernetes, learning Kubernetes, and why you wanted to become a Kubestronaut. So I guess you said you started with the CKA. So maybe can you tell us, like, so in the 6 weeks, like, how did you, what was the order? Maybe that's something we can start with.
Yeah. Okay. So at the beginning, it's just your course Kubernetes for absolute beginners because I didn't have Kubernetes experience at all. So I started with the course for the absolute beginners. It took me about 1 week or 8 days, I think, and then I just continue prepare CKA exam. And the CKA exam, I took a lot of time to prepare to understand the knowledge, the structure of the architecture of Kubernetes. And it took me almost 10 days or 2 weeks to really learn something from CKA exam. from CKA, and also do a lot of hands-on labs in KodeKloud platform. And then CKAD is very easy if someone who has already finished the CKA. I think there are just 20 or 30% difference between them. And CKAD, I just used 1 week to pass through. And then my next plan is KCNA exam, is associated level. It's also just 3 days preparation, and then very quickly passed the exams. And then is too difficult. The most difficult exams for me is KCSA and CKS. It's both security relevant exams. It's something like a completely different domain for me. I mean, as developer, I know I also develop something very secure or very safe, but as a security expert or specialty in this field is something different. Especially for CKS or KCSA, both exams, I need to learn some basic or the advanced Linux knowledges, which is something lack in my daily work. So it's a huge challenge for me for the prepare to security exams. And I must say I took a little bit of risk for the KCSA exam because I want to have a nice Christmas. And I think, okay, I took the exam for my Christmas and finish it. And if I didn't finish it, and it's totally fine, and still I can have a nice Christmas. So I took a shot, and luckily I passed the exam for my before my Christmas, my KCSE exam. And during the Christmas, I just prepared the CKS exam. It's a little bit flexible. I don't study. I didn't study so much as the first 4 exams. I studied a little bit vinegar as I reduced my study time. I think it's around daily 3 to 4 hours for CKS exam, and also around 10 days for the exam preparation. And I passed the exam at the first day of this year.
Amazing. Yeah. So you did KCSA first and then CKS? Is that what
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I learned, I read a blog in the internet. Someone said KCSA is something like the theory part of CKS. So I think, okay, then I finished the theory part at first, and then the practice.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. So if you wanna, I guess in areas where you're not like very confident, maybe you start with the theory first, make sure you're good with the theory, and then go for the practical one, right? So like the 2 paths that we have defined, the first path is starting with the CKA. So if you're a little bit confident with your hands-on skills, then I would, that's something you can start. But the path 2 starts with KCNA, which is a theory exam. So if you're completely new, then it's easier to start with the theory exam, multiple choice questions, and then move to the hands-on one. Similarly, between CKS and KCSA, if you're wondering, again, depending on your confidence, if you're confident, I would say go for CKS. That's the bigger one. And if you do that, then KCSA becomes a lot easier. Or you start with KCSA, prepare, make sure you learn the theory really well, do that, and then go for the CKS. But how did you feel? So just talking about security, right? Like what are the areas that you had challenge with? Because I know that, security is something that comes a little bit later for most people, like even networking or security, right? Like they're like 2 separate topics that are like where we need to sit and learn and understand. There are things that you would use on a daily basis, but not extensively all the time. So it requires a little bit of studying, and most of the time the concepts are like completely new. So for you, like within security, what did you feel like are the new and different things?
I think in TCSA preparing course, online course from you, there is a lot of part threat models. which is introduce different threat models for in the KCSA exams. This is the most, I think, a difficult part for me, because you need to remember each part or each step, something goes wrong, and then you should do something as a strategy to protect your system. And the more I learn, the more I've realized there is a huge part is Linux system relevance, Linux system part for the security. Yeah, because for example, not to give a container is a privileged right to do anything, or just limit the rights a container can do in the system, and how to limit it. And this part is very difficult. I need to first I need to understand the basic Linux at first, and then I can go for the KCSA exam or the container knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's totally valid, right? I think that's
Yeah.
something I would recommend anyone to do when you learn anything. I guess getting that foundations right? Like if you're learning security, understand the concepts of security first, and also how it applies to just Linux first, and that way you learn a lot of it. And then
Yeah.
it's just the same application on Kubernetes, right? The same goes with networking. Like if your networking foundations are right, if you know how networking works in Linux, then you can very easily apply those concepts to networking in Kubernetes. So I guess, yeah. So I think within security, specifically the threat models, I think those are important.
Yeah.
And
I think a
go
threat
ahead.
model are not just important for the exams, it's also very important for the daily work. And if you learned a threat model very well, then you know something goes wrong, or in which part, in which time, and what's your strategy for this security risk. Yeah,
Got it.
it's
Yeah.
something part I really
Yeah.
learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Understood. Yeah. Cool. So I saw that you had some you written a couple of blogs or some things for on how to like memorize some of these. Maybe you want to share some of those tips with us.
Yeah, I just posted a YouTube video in my channel about how to memorize Kubernetes components. There are a lot of components, and I think it just to share my experience of how did I memorize all of different parts in Kubernetes, and the relationship of different components. And yeah, I think it's at first, I just introduced the three types of pods. For example, single container pod, multi-container containers pod, or the static pod, and how to create a pod. Yeah, of course, you can create a pod one by one. And after that, if you want to create a 100th pod, then you will want to use a replication controller. And the next version of a replication controller is the replica set. But what the problem of a replica set is, if you update the port definition file, then after that you need to manually put down some containers in this replica set, and then replica set will continue the new port. And in this part, maybe the best choice is to use the deployment. Deployment can use a rolling update strategy to update the container or the port automatically. And from the deployment, it's stateless. So if we want to create some stateful containers, pods, then you should use a stateful set. And from stateful set, you can also think about the daemon set, what the difference between daemon set, stateful set, and deployment. Yeah, and then it's just the jobs or the cron jobs and the different parts of Kubernetes. I think if you like me to say the whole structure, I think I just need 20 minutes to finish my video again. And if someone who has interest, just go to my channel and see my video about it. I think it's pretty good, organized, and it's very easy to help you to memorize the different Kubernetes components in a systematic way. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, for those of you who'd like to check out Lei's YouTube channel, is that Thunder at Code?
Yeah, then
Yeah.
there is code. Yeah.
Cool.
Because Lei in Chinese is my character is Thunder, so I just
Okay.
name it Thunder
Nice.
Code.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, I've just posted a link in the chat. So you should be able to see that, or you can just go to YouTube and search Thunder at Code. So let me just share that here. So I guess my chat messages are only going to those who are watching on YouTube. But for everyone else, I guess we can show it in the banner below. So in a minute or so, you'll see. We'll show you the link to Lei's channel. Yeah, right there. So it's Thunder at Code. If you search for that on YouTube, you'll be able to find Lei. Awesome. So pretty cool. I'll check that out too. So what's your so any other tips, like for maybe the hands-on exams, maybe how did you what's your usual let's say for the CKA or CKAD, how do you how do you usually go through and take the exam, and did you, I mean, maybe tell us a little bit about the hands-on experience itself in the exams, right? Like, were you able to finish it in time and at all times, and what are your tips on making sure you attend to all the questions in time?
Okay. I think at first I must admit the time in the exam is very limited. So if someone, of course, you can check the official document during the exam, but there is a very limited time. If you try to search everything in the documentation, and it will be likely your time is not enough. So my suggestion, my first tip is just to memorize some basic syntax or command of Kubernetes, not to look up everything in Kubernetes document. Yeah. And then the second part, I think, is also very important if you want to look something in the document. The best strategy is to remember what you are looking for, locate in which part in the document, not to use the search. Because if you use the search, and there is another time waste for the searching. So the best practice or the best strategy is to memorize which part do you really need. For example, if you look at the network policies document, there are different scenarios for the different questions or different questions types. And if you understand your question very clearly, and then you can locate to the document very fast and just the part which you need and copy paste, there is not so much time waste. But if you search it at first and then look through the whole document, I think it's very limited time. It's very time consuming. And because
So
I
just
think
to clarify, one of the questions a lot of people often have is like, can you use bookmarks? Is that allowed? Are we able to use bookmarks, like bookmark certain things beforehand and then just use those bookmarks during the exam?
I haven't used, but
Okay.
I think it is. I don't know. I haven't used it. I just memorize the
Okay.
all important important document in my brain, in my memory. Sorry. Yeah. And the third tip, I think, is to memorize some standard workflow for a specific type of tasks. For example, if a task asks you to restore a etcd data store, or if a task asks you to update a node, it's very typical question in the exam. If you update the node, and first is to drain the node, yeah, and then update the node and restart kubeplate, and then the most important thing is uncount the node at last. If you didn't uncount the node, then everything what you done is waste.
Yeah.
You lose some point, definitely. So just memorize the workflow, the standard workflow for some specific tasks in your memory, and it's very important. And then the fourth exam tips, I think, is time management, not panic. Especially in CKAD exam, you need to update Kube API server and to update the kubelet a lot. And sometimes you need to wait kubelet or the API server back to work. So sometimes if you're lucky, not lucky, if you did everything right, of course, API server or the kubelet will be back to work as normal, healthy. But if you have done something wrong or the configure something wrong and the whole cluster is broken, so if the whole cluster is broken, then your time stress or the psychological stress is unlimited. It's very stressful to debug which part is wrong. So my strategy is, if I am not sure about some configuration in the exam, especially CKAD exam, I will just copy or backup the configuration file for kubelet on the API server at first, and then I will, if something goes wrong, and I can just roll back to the original state. And the final exam tip is get something or understand the question clearly in a simple way, because Kubernetes exams, from my perspective, they are just the exam to test your basic skills of Kubernetes. So in the exams, maybe you do something, you want to check something and with some commands, and you didn't get what you want with this command. And you start thinking some super complex, complicated solution. But I need to say stop. If you try to solve something with a super complex solution, it may be you are in the wrong direction. So just calm down and read the question one more time and try to understand it in a correct way. And you can find out some questions is just a one command line. There's not so much.
Okay. That's a very valid point. So just remember that there are no like super complicated things to do, right? It's basically testing all the basics. So most of the time the solutions are basic, right? It's usually something that's easy. So if you are thinking of some complex solution, then you have to think twice. It's most likely not the right approach. And then you kind of get into this whole mode of breaking something, and then the whole cluster is broken, and then maybe other things that you've done, you're going to get impacted on. So has it happened to you any time where you have done something and you've just got stuck and you're not able to solve it? What do you do in that case?
I faced it in 2 times in CKAD exam, which I configure something and the kubelet or the API server back to work as normal, is very healthy, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work as I thought.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have any solution about it. I did twice for the check. I check everything twice, one more time, but it still doesn't work. And I just think, okay, then move on to the next question, because I think the problem or the task I faced this problem is about eighth or ninth question or the task in my exam, and there are a lot of questions I didn't done it. So I just very calm and quick and decide to cut it off and move on to the further questions.
Okay. So, but at what stage, like when do you decide, okay, this is too much, this has gone out of hand, I need to move on? When do you like, do you give yourself time, like let's say 5 minutes per question, and then even after 5 minutes?
It's about 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. I think it is around 70 questions in the exam, and we have 2 hours. So per question, we have 7 minutes. Around. So if I face I try to solve a question or task if I didn't have a clearly thought or the solution for this task in 4 minutes, I will just cut it off and move on. Because during the exam, you can just go back if you have more time and to do the questions or tasks which you finished it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So I have a number of questions that are coming in from the chat based on this discussion, right? So I think those are related to the same things that we're talking about, which is like, how do you validate? Like, do you actually, when you do something, do you validate it before moving on? If so, how do
Yeah.
you usually do that?
Yeah, I definitely validate my question. For example, if there is some tips in the exam, uh, teach you how to validate your answer is correct or not. For example, if it's a configuration for a service or the ingress, and then they will give you a command, and you can just run this command and to see the result. If the result is hello world or hello something, then you are right. And if the result is, for example, 404, then you are in the wrong hand. So
Okay.
this is a one trick. And also see the, for example, the notes and check. I use a lot describe for KubeCloud to describe a node, KubeCloud to describe a deployment, and to see that the configuration is correct, or the same configuration which is required in the task. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you basically, you do the task, and then you use the describe command to list and verify that it's done correctly. One of the things I would add is like always copy and paste the names. I don't know if that's something you do, because sometimes it could be like numbers, or it could be like sometimes the names they ask you to
Yeah.
create are like very weird, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be 0xyz123 or something like that. So a 0 could be a O, or a O could be
Yeah.
a 0. You might mistype it. So it's always the best practice to like copy and paste the names.
Yeah. Don't teach, not
That's very
just
good.
type
Yeah.
it by yourself.
Yeah.
It's very easy to make something wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um. All right. So that's cool. And then you have yeah, we have about 5 more minutes. But any other anything else you would like to share with everyone today?
Yeah, I think Kubernetes exam are almost the hardest one I took until now. It's harder than AWS. And hands-on is also very stressful. But yeah, like I said, something you can't build alone in one day. So just learn step by step. And I think Mongchamp had a super good challenge board. The campaign is a pretty something you need to prepare Kubernetes or Kubestronaut in your systematic way. I think I will just wish or the hope all of you can get Kubestronaut this year and join the community. I think Kubestronaut is the best community.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me.
absolutely. Yeah, great, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lei, for the inputs. And likewise, I wish everyone, yeah, all the best in continuing with this journey. Just trying to see if there's any other question that we can pick up. So I see a number of questions about should we complete all the 5 exams within 12 months. So if you buy the bundle, which has the 5 certifications, I guess all of them have a 12-month expiry date. So yes, if you buy the bundle, then yes, you'll have to complete it in 12 months. But the thing is, like, if you start doing 1 or 2, then the rest of them becomes a lot easier. So 1 year is enough time to kind of aim to complete all of it. So if you do CKA, CKAD and KCNA are very easy. You'll be able to just complete that on top of CKA. Similarly, then the big challenge would then be the CKS, the security side of things. And once you learn that once, then CKS and KCSA kind of becomes easy. So I think 1 year is a decent amount of time available to attempt all the exams. And just looking through any other questions. So upcoming changes on the CKA. So I talked about it earlier in this video. So we've already updated our course. Half of it is done. And we have a few more updates that are coming up, which we'll update. But as of now, we don't know for sure if the exam is actually going to get updated on the 10th of February. The last I checked, it's not going to happen before the 10th. But we don't know if it's going to happen on the 10th. So we'll get to know that closer to the date. So as of now, the contents in the course should be sufficient to prepare for the CKA exam. So the sequence, we kind of mentioned that a couple of times. If you have enough experience, as in enough experience working with Linux and systems, I would recommend starting with the CKA, the CKAD, KCNA, and then CKS or KCSA, depending on you want to go with the theory or the practical one. But if you want to just start with, in a very safe way, just the theory-based exam, then I would recommend KCNA first, and then CKAD, and then CKA, and then KCSA, and then the CKS. Cool. A lot of other questions I feel everyone else has chipped in and answered. So thank you so much for helping out, guys. Really appreciate it. Well, so yeah, I think that's about it for today. Thanks a lot for joining, everyone. And we have more things coming up the next couple of weeks. I will most likely get another guest next week. So yeah, just look out for it. But yeah, thank you so much for joining in from wherever you are. And we'll see you in about exactly 2 weeks from now. Well, thank you so much, Lei, one more time. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the tips that you've shared with the community. And yeah, all the best with everything else in the future. Like, what are you doing? Anything that you've planned for the future?
I want to first run my YouTube channel. It's a new challenge for me, and I will continue to share different things in Kubernetes and cloud technologies like AWS. And as for, I think my next journey is to Azure or Google Cloud and to learn something new. And I will continue to share different knowledges for all of us, all of you. And yeah, thank you for the supporting.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much once again. And thanks, everybody. And I'll see you in 2 weeks from now.
Bye.